Hey, it's the Rican, and I'm gonna talk about the McAfee death, just because I find it interesting. Um, it is kind of political. You'll see a little bit about it. I'm just gonna start with just a regular article from the New York Times. John McAfee, software pioneer turned fugitive, dies in Spanish prison. Well, and this is, I'm just going to read the story and then I'll tell you why I find it interesting. Here it goes. The John McAfee, the founder of antivirus software maker bearing his name, died in prison in Spain on Wednesday after a Spanish court said that he could be extradited to the United States on tax evasion charges. So here's the interesting thing. It was McAfee was arrested in Spain in 2020 after prosecutors in the United States accused him of not filing tax returns from 2014 to 2018 as he earned millions from promoting cryptocurrencies, consulting work, speaking engagements, and selling the rights to his life story for a documentary, according to an indictment filed by the Justice Department last year. In addition, the SEC charged Mr. McAfee in October with promoting initial coin offerings, deals for cryptocurrencies on Twitter without disclosing that he had been paid to do so. In his complaint, the SEC and Mr. McAfee had pretended to be independent and impartial, but has received more than 23 million for stirring up interest in the offerings. McAfee said he had been arrested despite paying millions of dollars in taxes and resisted extradition, claiming he faced political persecution for denouncing corruption in the IRS and opposing the fiat money system, in which central banks like the Federal Reserve control the money supply. So, so there it goes. So basically, um, so they brought him in on tax evasion charges, which, you know, um, so it goes here. The Justice Department of the Catalan region of Spain said that pending an investigation, it was treating his death as a probable suicide. And this is what, well, here, let me read this. Previously, McAfee was at the center of a media frenzy surrounding the death of a neighbor in Belize. In 2012, he fled his home there after the police called him a person of interest. The government of Belize also accused him of assembling a militia and dealing in the narcotics trade, according to media reports at the time. Within a few weeks, McAfee was arrested on charges of illegally entering Guatemala, where he sought political asylum. In 2016, he was back in the United States and ran for president as a libertarian, with campaign video decrying, "Here's to the crazy ones." McAfee Associates, the software company that he founded, was once a household name in the computer security. He started in his small house in Santa Clara, California, in response to a Pakistani computer virus called Brain, thought to be the first to attack personal computers. His plan was to create an antivirus program and give it away on computer bulletin boards with the hope that users would install it on their computers at work. They did, and the company paid licensing fees, giving McAfee revenues of about $5 million a year by 1990. Anyways, so like I said, this is the interesting part right here, where it talks about they're treating it as a possible suicide. So here's where I say, like, I find it interesting. Here's from the Daily Mail, the where they where the title gives you the whole article. John McAfee's death sparks conspiracy theories after antivirus pioneer said 8 months ago he would never take his own life, a la Epstein. So let's just read some of the bullet points. McAfee tweeted in 2020, "I am content in here. I have friends. The food is good. All is well. Know that if I hang myself, a la Epstein, it will be no fault of mine. Just minutes after his death was reported, his Instagram account posted a plain image of the letter Q in apparent reference to the QAnon conspiracy theory. His wife, Janice McAfee, further fueled the conspiracy theories with a Father's Day post just made just days before his death. In the post, Janice speculated that U.S. authorities are determined to have John die in prison. So that's why I say this stuff sound is really, really interesting. Because here's the tweet. Here's his tweet. Getting subtle messages from U.S. officials saying, in effect, we're coming for you, McAfee. We're going to kill yourself. I got a tattoo today just in case. If I suicide myself, I didn't. I was whacked. Check my right arm. So, so this is really interesting. Um, I'm not going to go into the QAnon stuff just because I just one I just don't find it interesting. I think it's stuff that I think it's counter in I think it's counterintelligence. I think what it basically is it's it's meant to have, let's say, threads of truth. They mix in threads of truth, which is any conspiracy theory, but I think it's really meant to basically get people sucked in, so like that they can believe some of the craziest stuff, and then in turn what they do is then they make anybody, anybody that's associated with those type of people, you're labeled nut jobs because the stuff that they believe. um but that's why I don't follow any of that stuff. Just That's just me personally. I don't judge people for following it, but I think just as January 6th was no good for libertarians and the right leaning movement, so is the QAnon conspiracy. I think it's bad for us. And here we go. I mean, this doesn't look like the someone who's about to kill himself. So, I mean, here goes his wife. His wife, but I know John is an extremely polarizing individual. Believe me, I know this better than most. But I also know, as well as any of you who don't follow him on Twitter, that he's always been honest about who he is, always. Sometimes too honest, and sometimes sharing more than any of us cared to know about him. And here's the whole thing. I'll share a little bit. Um, for me, the reason I find this interesting is just because the fact that um, just because, oh, great. Well, lucky I was actually reading you the articles. I didn't realize I wasn't sharing it. So I read you some of the articles. I just, like I said, this article from the Daily Mail. Sorry, it's been a long day, people. The New York Times article, but like I said, Daily Mail. Here's some of the pictures I was talking about. Does this look like someone who's gonna, you know, doesn't look when it comes to foreign prisons? This doesn't look so bad. But here's the tattoo. Here's the tweet, and like I said, I find this interesting just because it's one of my guilty pleasures. I used to enjoy watching Alex Jones when I was younger. Find him wildly entertaining, and let's be real. Sometimes he's right about some of the stuff. You could, kill him as a conspiracy theory, but some of the things that he's spoke about is actually true. Has actually come true. So I remember hearing him I remember hearing John McAfee on the Alex Jones show, and I even remember him back then saying he would never kill himself, because of other famous people who killed themselves. Like I remember there was the DC madam who killed herself, who said she wouldn't kill herself, and then they found, miraculously she killed herself before she could give away names. Same thing with Epstein. So, it's just crazy when there's people like this who could name names and then end up killing themselves. Now, the reason why I find this guy so interesting is he said he had a tripwire one time. I remember hearing an interview with him, basically saying that if he ever was killed, he would it would then the information he had would be released. So now that he's died, it's going to be interesting to see if that was true or not. Because if some stuff does come out, then it will be interesting to see if this goes from conspiracy theory to conspiracy fact. And that's why I find it interesting. You don't have to find it interesting. You don't have to agree with me. But that's what I think. I'm just waiting to see what's the next shoe to drop. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, I I don't think I've ever met a person who's like say that Epstein killed himself. There's no one that believes that story. No one believes that story. You're talking about a guy who's going to give up some of the most powerful people in the world to save his own butt, but he decided to kill himself. Nah, but you guys let me know what you think. Tell me in the comments. Tell me what's your conspiracy theory about this? Will it become conspiracy fact or will it stay conspiracy theory? That's just the question. So, um, anyways, let me go. Also, let me know. I bought a new light. I want to know. Trying to improve the quality of my videos. I have my mic. My mic is good. I just wanted, took advantage of Prime Day, bought me a new light. Just got to figure out the angle, see if I use one of the hues that has different colors I could use. So I'll probably play with it the uh, next couple of days and see what works better for me, what angle. So this is on the side over here, on this side over here, shining from here. I got two of them, so I haven't decided if I'm going to do two and see if it's too bright or whatnot. But anyways, like I said, comment section. You know, I appreciate your feedback. And I'm the Right Rican. If you're watching this, you're watching it. Hopefully, you're either watching on YouTube or Rumble. Um, and check me out on social media. I'm on uh, Facebook, Twitter, Gab, and I'll put the links in the description. That being said, have a good one, everyone.